So I grew up in a pretty conservative household, and I was always taught that character matters when it comes to the President of the United States. And then Donald Trump came along and blew that entire notion out of the water for the Republican Party. And now we even have people that are close to Trump, people that worked in his administration, coming out and saying that he is unhinged, that he is not fit to be president. And we even have people from Trump's own family now coming out and saying similar things. Fred Trump is Donald Trump's nephew, and he's releasing a new book called All in the Family, The Trumps and How We Got This Way. And in that book, he alleges that Donald Trump has said some heinous things towards the disabled community. So let's go ahead and listen to Fred Trump talk about the Trump family and his relation to Donald Trump.
His nephew says this is no political hit job, it's the full truth. Here's senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky.
It says the Trumps and how we got this way. What way? What's the Trump way?
Complex and sometimes cruel. And within every family, people know this, families are complicated. Every family has their crazy uncle. My Uncle Donald is atomic crazy. And he has put his mark on the family history.
Atomic crazy?
Yes.
What's that mean?
Means he does things that, even as much as I know him, when he's out there now, I sort of shudder and say, is this the same guy I knew? What's making him change? What got him this way?
I think this is pretty damning stuff. You have people from Trump's own family coming out and saying there's just something that is not quite right with Donald Trump. We already know that 40 out of the 44 hand-selected cabinet members aren't endorsing Donald Trump because something is just not quite right. I don't think Donald Trump feels empathy like the rest of us do. I've never thought that he was a great person, and I think that he only looks out for himself. But what he said about the disabled community and Fred Trump's son, who was born with a genetic mutation in 1999, is just insane. So let's go ahead and listen to what Donald Trump actually said.
After his uncle was elected president, Fred Trump says he saw an opportunity to advocate for the disabled.
I was in the Oval Office 12 times, and that was our mission, to advocate for people with complex disabilities. It culminated in May of 2020 in the Oval Office. Donald was there, and he was very gracious. Several other folks were there, including the group that we brought down. We dispersed. I was asked to go back and see Donald. He greeted me with his familiar, "Hey, pal, how's it going?" We sat down for a bit, and he just came out with, these people, all the expenses, they should just die. He's talking about human beings who have complex issues, and the first thing he could say was, they should just die.
That is absolutely horrendous. We have Fred Trump trying to do some advocacy work for the disabled community at the White House, and all that Donald Trump can say is these people should just die because they require resources from our system? That is absolutely disgusting. Like I said, I never thought Donald Trump was a good dude, but I think when you have so many people around him that were close to him, that were in his inner circle, coming out and saying basically that he's not a great dude, I think that bolsters my argument quite a bit. And I think we should be taking these people seriously. Why would these people lie? Would be my question. Now you could say there could be some financial benefit to Fred Trump. I don't know exactly how that works out. I mean, he is trying to sell a book. But what would be the point of lying in the book? Especially since it seems that Fred Trump was pretty close to Donald Trump. It seems to me that they were, they weren't just nobodies to one another. I mean, Fred Trump visited the White House 12 times when Trump was president. That doesn't just seem like a nonchalant or not very serious relationship to me. We see this over and over again. People close to Trump coming out and saying that he's just no good. He's just no good. But I think this story gets even worse. Donald Trump said the same thing about Fred Trump's own son. Absolutely crazy. Let's go ahead and see what Fred Trump says.
Fred claims this wasn't isolated, describing a phone call to alert his uncle the medical fund set up by the family for his son William was running low, a fund he says the former president consistently replenished.
A couple of years ago, I called him. I said, Donald, the fund's running out. And without hesitation, he said, your son doesn't recognize you. Let him die and move to Florida.
That is absolutely heartbreaking. For Donald Trump to say something so heinous towards Fred Trump's own son? Heartbreaking. Now, I will give Donald Trump credit that he seems to be the one who created this fund, or at least contributed to this fund, so Fred Trump's son could be taken care of. But that is no excuse for saying that these people should just die, for saying that Fred Trump's son should die, just because they require resources or they're disabled or whatever twisted logic Donald Trump had in his mind to say something like that. It's just no excuse. And of course, Trump and the Trump campaign are coming out against this, and they're saying this is completely fabricated and total fake news of the highest order. It is appalling. A lie so blatantly disgusting can be printed in media. Anyone who knows President Trump knows he would never use such language, and false stories like this have been thoroughly debunked. I feel like this is the bog standard response that we hear from any media story that Trump doesn't like. It's all fake news. It's not real. This is what we hear from Trump all the time. Who am I going to take more seriously? The 40-plus people that were close to Trump saying that Donald Trump has said these types of things? Trump's family who's come out and said these types of things? Now, I'm not saying that these accusations are 100% true. I don't think any of us will ever know 100%. These seem like private conversations. But it seems more likely to me, with all of the other evidence we have and all of the other people that were close to Trump saying that he's not a great guy, it seems more likely that what Fred Trump is saying is true. So I just go back to that question. Should we be putting somebody like this in the White House? Does character matter? I think character does matter. I think we took advantage of the situation where most of our presidents were of good, decent character. And then Trump came along and really tested that notion. I don't think we should be putting people in the White House that lack moral character and lack the empathy to serve others. Because we can't trust that Donald Trump is going to do the right thing for all Americans. He's proved this far that he is just interested in himself. So why would I take a chance of trying to put him back in office? I think that the statements made that disabled people should just die is 100% disqualifying. And I don't think Donald Trump should come anywhere near the White House ever again. But that's just where I stand on this. So that's going to do it for me on this one, folks. If you got anything out of this video, if you could remember to smash that like button and hit subscribe, maybe share it with a friend or two, I'd very much appreciate that. If you think I got something wrong, or if you disagree with me about something, feel free to drop a comment below. And if you want to see Trump's insane rally in Minnesota, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. And I will see you guys on the next one.